happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. Now you guys can probably already tell that it is going down. Just by that title alone, you guys are definitely going to want to check this one out. So we're now receiving new details into a potential racketeering RICO case being brought on the rogue agents that came after Donald Trump with the political persecutions like Miss Fonnie Willis, Letitia James, and Mr. Alvin Bragg. Guys, I'm excited to get into this one, so we're not straight into it. Just please make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for your boy. And without further ado, let's get straight into it, folks. Check this one out.
To end lawfare by state and local prosecutors. Rather than debate political opponents on substance, my colleagues on the other side of the aisle thought they could win the 2024 election through the use of partisan lawfare tactics. Lawfare has been defined as, quote, the strategic use of legal proceedings to intimidate or hinder an opponent, end quote. Lawfare violates the fundamental mission of prosecutors. Prosecutors' job is to do justice. As a former assistant United States attorney, I made it my duty to uphold the law with fairness on those I charged, making sure their civil liberties were kept intact. Additionally, when I was a prosecutor, I methodically ensured the cases that were brought before me would not fall to political pressure or succumb to outside influence, especially to score cheap political points. Every American deserves to have a justice system that is divorced from the political whims of elected office holders, political parties, and personal vendettas. In their political pursuit of President Trump, however, we saw state and local prosecutors abuse professional norms in favor of achieving indictments against their target. Prior to the 2024 election, President Trump was criminally indicted 4 times. Let's take a quick look at the state and local lawsuits brought against President Trump. First up, Fulton County, Georgia District Attorney Fani Willis's 41-count indictment against 19 defendants, which included President Trump, his attorneys, his former White House Chief of Staff, and a former Justice Department official. The politicized nature of this prosecution is hard to ignore. A mere 4 days before the indictment, DA Willis launched a campaign fundraising website highlighting her investigation into President Trump. And though DA Willis's investigation was first reported in February of 2021, it was not until President Trump announced his candidacy that she brought charges. And later, DA Willis requested that the trial begin on March 4th, 2024, the day before Super Tuesday and just 8 days before the Georgia presidential primary. To charge President Trump and his co-defendants, DA Willis used a broad interpretation of Georgia's RICO law, which is intended to be used to prosecute criminal enterprises that infiltrate legitimate businesses and use interstate commerce. For background, RICO statutes are used to prosecute organized crime mob bosses, street gang leaders, and other crime syndicate heads, not typically elected office holders, on absurd charges. Prior to indicting President Trump, she coordinated with special counsel Jack Smith and the partisan January 6th committee. Her lead prosecutor, Nathan Wade, met with the Biden-Harris White House on multiple occasions. Then we have New York Attorney General Letitia James, who has made her disdain for President Trump well known. When she ran for New York Attorney General, she made many personal attacks against President Trump, calling him things like con man, carnival barker, and even an illegitimate president. As soon as she took office, AG James began investigating President Trump. In September 2022, she sued the president, alleging that he and his company had committed fraud to inflate the value of his properties. Now let's turn to Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, who indicted President Trump with 34 counts of falsifying business records, which was tied to an unknown federal crime which aggravated the charges to felonies. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office had been investigating President Trump since 2018. But it wasn't until after President Trump announced he was running for president in late 2022 that Bragg elected to resurrect the zombie case against President Trump. And who did he bring on to help his politicized investigation? Bragg hired senior Biden-Harris Justice Department official Michael Colangelo to jumpstart his office's investigation of President Trump, reportedly due to Colangelo's, quote, history of taking on Donald J. Trump and his family business, end quote, while working for the New York Attorney General's office. One should be equally concerned if it were a Republican district attorney engaging in this conduct toward a former Democrat president, cabinet secretary, or White House official.
Wait. We cannot forget. I feel like he's missing one piece. We got Fonnie Willis, we got Letitia James, we got Alvin Bragg on that list, Michael Colangelo, but we're missing that very corrupt judge. I mean, Judge Juan Merchan, the way he allowed his court to turn into a complete circus. He needs to be held accountable too. Yo, big hats off Shout out to Chipboy for not forgetting and coming back on all these rogue agents, bringing it back to light. We can't forget. If we forget now, we let these folks run for the hills and think they got away with it. Guess what? They'll come back and they'll be doing it again before we know it. We have to hold all these rogue agents accountable for their actions. Oh my goodness. And it sounds like they fit underneath that description of what constitute a racketeering or a RICO case. Definitely sounds like these are some organized crime bosses trying to get at Donald Trump for political points. A RICO case sounds like it would definitely fit well here. I'm just saying.
These prosecutions are precisely what former Attorney General Robert Jackson warned us about. Attorney General Jackson warned about the most dangerous power of the prosecutor. Quote, that he will pick people that he thinks he should get rather than pick cases that need to be prosecuted. It is here that law enforcement becomes personal, and the real crime becomes that of being unpopular with the predominant or governing group, being attached to the wrong political views, or being personally obnoxious to or in the way of the prosecutor himself, end quote. And that is precisely what we have here. This is why Congress must address Democrats' lawfare efforts by popularly elected state and local prosecutors against federal officials. In fact, many of my Democratic colleagues on this committee are vocal proponents of a fairer criminal justice system, calling an end to perceived needless instances of overzealous prosecution, wrongful arrest, and detention, and limiting incarceration overall. What better way to achieve these goals than engaging in this hearing to uncover possible missteps by state and local justice systems and ushering legislation to rectify these glaring blind spots? Current law does not adequately protect federal officials from rogue state and local attorneys who stack unwarranted charges against their political opponents. Under current law, the option to remove civil or criminal cases from a state court to a federal court is limited to federal agency officials and legislative and judicial officers. Our colleague on the Judiciary Committee, Congressman Fry, has a bill that would fix this problem. The Promptly Ending Political Prosecutions and Executive Retaliation Act of 2025 is designed to protect our nation's leaders from lawfare tactics. This bill gives both current and former presidents of either party, vice presidents, and federal officials the ability to remove civil and criminal cases against them from a state court to a federal district court. The bill also codifies the immunity recognized by the U.S. Supreme Court for official acts carried out by a federal official. This bill should not be misconstrued as a get-out-of-jail-free card. Far from it. It should be an opportunity for individuals to have a shot of non-politicized due process experience. Make no mistake, if a federal official were to commit theft, fraud, assault, or other crime, they should be held accountable regardless of political party or policy views.
Yo, there we have it, guys. So blessed and thankful to have representatives like Chip Roy who are not afraid to go after and call out these rogue agents that have been coming after Donald Trump with these terrible, terrible deeds, not allowing that to be swept underneath the rug, never to be remembered again. He's keeping that fresh in the front of everybody's mind, the Trump administration highlighting where they should be going next. And this shouldn't be looked at as a revenge or retribution act. This is simply justice at this point. I mean, what we've seen them putting Donald Trump through, absolutely political, is absolutely insane to see, and we have to stop it here. If we don't stop it here, it's going to go on until the end of time. I'm with Chip Roy. Let's draw the line, stop it right here for both sides of the aisle, guys. Definitely hop in the comment section though. Let me know your thoughts. What are you guys thinking about all this? And please make sure you hit that like button and hit that subscribe button if you enjoy more content like this. Catch you guys on the next week.